Imagine waking up to a world where the sun barely rises. A pale, dim disk in the sky gives no warmth. Crops fail, livestock starve, people die, and no one knows why. The year is 536 AD. Historians have called it the worst year to be alive. But was it really? Welcome to the Goodfellas podcast, where I'm Clark,
And I'm Sean.
and we're deep diving into the worst year to be alive.
This is going back in history, this podcast, and I reckon you've got to be that voice all episode.
Yeah, I know.
Keep that going.
I know. So we're diving into what they've said is the worst year in human history. 536 with some contenders.
Yeah.
Which are do you want me to name them or?
No, you can do. Yeah, I'm just saying it piqued our interest in it. Good.
Yeah.
Looking a bit of history, something came up and we just had a little chat about it, and we thought, that'd be quite cool to go through and think about it.
Brilliant topic to talk about.
So do you have a contender years? Go on.
Yeah, 1347 and 1918. I mean, you obviously know why that is. Certainly 1347, was that the Black Death?
Plague, yeah.
1918, start of World War One. 1943, start of World War Two, and even 2020 is up there with COVID.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be, but
we'll
see why.
I think that's really going to be more about how it compares to how we manage something which is globally, compared to the years in past times and how they've done it. Yeah,
and like you said, we're going to explore the stories, the science, and the suffering. This isn't just history. It's a reminder of what we've survived and what we could face again. So yeah, we're really excited to talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit different as well, isn't it? It's like a one topic episode, but we're going to do more of that sprinkled in there as well, aren't we?
Yeah. So I think before we dive into the episode, you might want to have a nice beer.
I might do.
Wrap your lips around.
Oh yeah, all right, mate.
And delight in. So thank you again to Beers Europe. Our affiliated collaboration now with them as well. We're going to be doing a lot more with Beers of Europe, so watch your space. There'll be a lot more content coming out, and we'll be supporting them, and they'll be supporting us more. So excited about that.
Oh, we're really chuffed. From the first episode when you got those beers, we have wanted to get a partnership, which we now have, and I think it's going to go into more and better things.
Yes,
discount codes hopefully, and hell, we might even do an episode at Beers of Europe.
I reckon we will.
Brewery.
We definitely will. 100% in the future.
But
so I've gone to Beers Europe again. I've brought some beers. So for today's episode, I
I
present to you from a country in Europe, Croatia. We haven't had that one before. It is a can.
Well, the two cans we've had have been bloody good, mate.
So this will be interesting. This is a different one.
It's starting to change my opinion about bottles always better than cans.
So I present to you,
creamy,
from the Garden Brewery, a Myrna crisp IPA.
That's beautiful.
It is a lovely can.
Look at that.
Really crisp design. But they basically call this, it's where lager meets IPA. So it's kind of a cross. So it's not full on an IPA like a pale ale or that.
Crisp IPA.
Yeah. So it says delicious and refreshing, juicy notes of grapefruit, lime, and melon.
Wow. 5.8.
Yeah, pretty strong. 5.8.
Siren Craft Brew.
Hang on. ASMR.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You all right there, mate?
Oh, that was really fast.
Shit, you shook mine out. I go. Right, let's try this. Try this round two.
Fuck me, that massive.
ASMR.
Oh, yours isn't too bad.
Hear the frothiness.
Don't do that. That's like Anchorman. My frothy ejaculate.
Those poor
villagers maybe seen
Pompeii.
The outtakes of Anchorman.
Oh, they're some of the funniest
brilliant
I've ever seen. Feel my leg. Tell me that doesn't feel like a cock. I might have rescued it a bit. It's quite a frothy ejaculate beer anyway, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I've gone for the head.
Yeah, you know. Oh, Scheiße.
Oh, so as you would expect from any kind of IPA, you're going to get that more cloudiness.
Yeah.
It's going to be more hoppier.
Yeah, we've as one of the comments pointed out to us recently, we've murdered that beer pour. But YOLO and fuck you.
It is actually, and you say that though,
A
in
lot of
like I've seen him like in Japan and other places,
and
a
Germany.
lot of head.
And Germany, like the Steins and that, they're all like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They say it's
Not too bad. We'll go for it.
smells very yeast, grapefruit, barley, banana, and malt.
Does smell good, actually.
Cheers, brother.
Guys. Cheers, everyone
cheers,
else.
guys.
Cheers to Beers of Europe. Tell you what, though, because you're not big.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
I am not the biggest IPA fan, but that is true what they say. That's fucking lovely.
That is nice, isn't it? Yeah, I'm normally, like I said, my favourite at the moment, like an IPA, is like a Beavertown kind of session. Like session IPAs are really good,
Yeah,
especially you can get them on tap and that. But
yeah,
like a proper pale hazy IPA, I like it. I like the hoppiness and
you
the
do.
flavour of it more than
yeah,
you.
Yeah, I'm not.
So when I saw that and it said like it's a mix between, I thought, oh, you might quite like that because obviously it's a little bit different. And
Lovely.
that is nice, isn't it?
Lovely, really nice.
So we'll do a little review on that halfway through.
Naturally.
So 536 AD.
Well, the question is about it's not. The question shouldn't be what happened. It's what didn't fucking happen.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
that
Yeah,
year, in it. Like, you can start us off if you want, dog.
yeah. So it basically, as the historians have written, what happened was there was a kind of a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
They think it kind of stemmed from Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
But some reports said it could have been like South America. Basically, the
Yeah.
volcanic eruption it produced a kind of sulfuric dust.
Yeah.
Sulfuric dust, and basically blocked the sunlight for about 18 months.
I know. Yeah.
So like
wasn't it?
and I can only imagine, going through that, what that must have been like, because whether you're near the volcano, we've got some reports of what people might have said around the time.
Yeah.
If you weren't near it, if you just
Yeah.
saw that and the sun dims, and it's just
Yeah.
no sunlight and you're dark for a lot longer,
Yeah.
you'd be like,
Oh, well,
what the fuck?
And back then as well, at 536, you probably think everyone would be heavily religious as well. You probably think it's like the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah,
or
like
something like that.
God is like
God's
the inventor of
mighty
all.
man.
Yeah.
Smoten.
Should I give this a go?
Exactly. Go on.
Yeah. So there was from Byzantine, Procopius.
That's it.
He wrote this. I'm going to try to do my deep voice.
Oh yeah.
During this year,
Oh my god.
the most dread portent took place. For the sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon during the whole year, and it seemed exceedingly like the sun in eclipse, for the beams it shed were not clear. I mean,
Oh, not bad, mate. Not bad.
it's pretty cryptic. Like, if you read it, because the way things were written
That
back on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically saying, like,
It was fucking dark.
dark. Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't as bright as it should have been.
Yeah.
I feel like the moon kind of
Yeah.
stuff and that. It affected everywhere, like
Yeah.
massively. Like
Yeah.
crops failed. The temperatures kind of dropped, and I know that doesn't sound a lot, but basically it said on average about 1.5 to 2.5 degrees.
Yeah, but they've said, haven't they, like worldwide, like that can have catastrophic effects just a few degrees worldwide, especially to like obviously the top and the North and South Pole and stuff like that with the ice.
Yeah, well, like I said, it said crops failed, so I can only
Well,
imagine.
yeah.
Like, obviously there would have been a lot of farming-ish kind of back then.
Well,
not-
that was it, literally. So much farming.
Yeah, because to get the food. So if that's failing,
Yeah.
obviously.
And then obviously, if you got no crops, you got no food, and then
Animals starve.
yeah, gonna be
You can't get the livestock yourself, like food from them.
gonna be famine.
Basically,
Well,
yeah.
that was what it was.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what happened.
yeah, worldwide famine. Just imagine, like, that would have been everyone's life, like agriculture, farming, and that, and like everyone's just like, oh, the crop's gone, your animal's gone. I bet there must have been like cannibalism to survive and stuff. Wouldn't have
Imagine.
been?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Like,
Yeah,
it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to say on that. Yeah.
there would have been
Probably.
to survive. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then, and it was more brutal back then, wasn't it?
I mean, it was described in like China. They said like they thought it was like the yellow, because obviously sulfuric acid is obviously like a yellowy dust. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So their accounts of it was like snow in the summer. So obviously snow, winter, obviously whatever. But they were like, oh, it's like snowing in the summer, like this sulfuric dust come down from.
And
you
that
think
obviously would have burnt them. Do you think? So
I don't know.
okay.
Maybe, I don't know on that, but if it did start from Iceland, it's a fucking big eruption to cover most of the world. In like a darkness, and for 18 months and everything. So it's a pretty big catastrophic event which happened, doesn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, no, it is. Yeah,
but
I mean that's just
that was
definitely isn't the worst thing that happened.
No, that was just the start of it. So this is obviously like 536 AD. Following this in 536 AD, so in 541 AD, so we're talking in 5 years later. We had the first known bubonic plague. Okay,
the Black Death.
It was called the plague of Justinian. Justinian, yeah. And basically, they reckoned it killed up to about 100 million people worldwide. Over a couple of centuries, that is. But that would still probably be about a third of the global population. 300
million, sort of mid-AD. Yeah.
You think about it now, we're like, what, 7 billion people?
7 billion, yeah.
We're 2025.
Now 2.5 billion.
So it's like, gone. What, 1,500 years ago?
Yeah. 2.5 billion today, gone.
Yeah.
That's like China and India pretty much gone. Oh!
Yeah, that is like
puts it in perspective.
Yeah,
or even worse, that's North and South and Central America gone, and some of Europe.
Yeah, even if you just sliced the world in thirds, isn't it? You just said like Europe and that survives. Yeah, all of America and South America at that time and stuff. And all of Europe and England and Africa go, or you got like if you did it like that, it's just a third of it wiped out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's a ridiculous amount of kind of deaths to happen, but obviously.
And there was just nothing that they could do to combat it.
No.
Obviously, early back then, was there?
Modern science and medicine and that wouldn't have been there. And even if they did try and make something out of natural remedies, it wasn't effective.
It wouldn't have been effective.
Or, and so far behind from like where they should be, I suppose.
Like you would have to be one of those farmers or like generals that are away from everyone else. Like how Maximus was away from everyone.
Yeah.
Like on his plot of land in Gladiator. That's where you'd want to be. So you're not around anyone. You can't get caught. You can't catch it. It's spread by rats, wasn't it? Bubonic plague.
The bubonic plague was, yeah. And it might have been like, like rats and kind of like pests like that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just be. What would I do? Yeah, I just want to be like a hermit up in the mountains or something. Yeah.
Same. I bet it'd be harder to get something like that up in the cold, wouldn't it?
Be like a monk up in like north of like mountains in China or something.
In Tibet,
like that. Just like no one's getting.
Yeah, you go back to get like supplies wherever it's from. You're like, oh shit, everyone's fucking
come
dead.
back as Batman.
Oh yeah,
like he does when he trains up there.
Do you know that's arguably very underrated as the best of the trilogy.
The first one
begins in it. I love that origin story. Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, it was good. It was Liam Neeson, isn't it?
Liam Neeson. Yeah. Great. Well, best trilogy ever, apart from the Lord of the Rings.
I 100% agree on that. Lord of the Rings is like amazing. What was I was looking at something of Lord of the Rings the other day. On camera was now. Just looking into like the character lore again and stuff. And that.
Just so
whole thing's
interesting, isn't it?
Intriguing, and just like you could get lost into it, which is what people do when they read the books. And,
I know.
And things like that.
I know. The lore.
I wonder how the Fellowship would have dealt with a bubonic plague.
Yeah. Well, Gandalf would have been like, he would have. Well, he's basically an angel, so he would have protected him.
Pretty much,
The orcs are a result of bubonic plague. Conspiracy.
Conspiracy alert. So yeah, I suppose the kind of questions on this is what I looked into it a bit more. Is kind of why would this year have been so little known, despite it kind of being so catastrophic, and it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
things probably back then weren't really written down a lot. Wasn't a lot of kind of literature.
And if they were
written down,
a lot of those people probably died.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't carry on.
And things would got lost.
Yeah.
While we were preserving things back then, like, write this down and keep the books or keep the parts of the papers they're writing on and stuff like that. It probably just wasn't recorded and kept.
No. Not as well, like I said, or if it was, like those people died and then for a few years after, those people died. So
Yeah.
the amount of records and people that were probably lost.
And I suppose, really, like we just said then, because it killed like over 100 million people over a couple of centuries,
Yeah,
and obviously being 536 AD, there's obviously like no news channels, there's no internet, obviously.
no,
I know that.
no one's putting it on Twitter.
So the global people are probably not, like, people in China are probably not knowing that it's
Exactly.
affecting people in Europe.
Exactly.
They're not getting that, like, they're thinking, oh my God, it's just the doom of China, and that's China.
Yeah.
Or Europe, or wherever they are, in Spain or England.
Well, they'll think that's just the world, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously back then they had all their different faiths and religions.
Yeah.
So if they believed in different gods and all that, they would
Yeah.
think, like you said, the god was probably just like
Well,
being vengeful.
spiting them.
They've done something wrong, which is kind of
Yeah.
like,
Do you know why you carry on? I'm going to see if there's any noticeable ancient people or figures that died during that year.
All right, you do that. Yeah, that's fine. I'll carry on. So I suppose obviously also the volcanic eruption at the time, even though that was catastrophic and I was like dimmed the sun for 18 months, was probably overshadowed a bit probably by the plague of Justinian.
100%. Of course.
Because obviously it's a little bit later, but something like that. More widely spread, killing people more, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I know you have the famine and you'd have the livestock and the crops failing and the dim light, but the plague probably definitely killed a lot more people.
Well, it did.
Because of it. Yeah, 100% it would have. And obviously something like that, like I said, is more dramatic in it as well.
Yeah, much more dramatic.
So it's kind of like a slow burn, but it kind of there was like no common enemy, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to blame it on a volcano, but like,
no,
it's a disaster, but there was no obvious enemy or no name because they didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah, that's true. Just on to the well, obviously Justinian. So obviously he was the Byzantine Empire. That's funny how going at the plague of Justinian, that's attaching it to him, isn't it?
Yeah, but if that was his empire, cool. Yeah, maybe it came from there. Is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah.
It started over there.
And like it's literally just saying as well, like the deaths, because the records that were kept, it's just been obliterated. Oh, that would be awful. Impending death. Imagine like you got the plague because it's all boils in it everywhere, boils everywhere, and bursting with black pus, and then the sun's not even out, mate.
That is just like
you can't even just be like, oh, the sun, it might give me hope. It's just
and there's us in COVID, like I'm not allowed out of my house, and we're moaning about that.
I know.
Comparisons,
I know. I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's different kind of concerns about it at the time when it obviously. I'm not undermining COVID as well because COVID was bad and killed a lot of people and a lot of people did die.
Yeah.
And there was concerns in going out, catching it. You could, especially if you're like kind of vulnerable.
Yeah.
But obviously, there was obviously COVID.
Yeah.
There was kind of more science and more things to hopefully protect you. And the procedures put in place was then they weren't staying at home probably or
of course
it was
not.
different and stuff.
No.
There was a kind of another quote I wanted to have. It was kind of like from China. So the court astrologers, this was, they warned emperors about the heaven's displeasure. This is about the volcano, okay?
Of course.
And it says, if the sun, I'm not going to do it. But I was thinking of Bobby and they have the podcast they do. And,
I'm Bobby Man.
Yeah. I was going to do an accent about that.
You should try it, mate. It'd be entertaining.
If the sun vanishes,
not bad.
and the crops die. It must mean the emperor has lost the mandate of heaven.
Oh, heaven.
Of heaven. But yeah, so that's basically what they would have said back then. If the sun vanishes and the crops die, it must mean the emperor has lost the mandate of heaven.
Oh,
so
yeah. They're gonna say the gods. Yeah.
One for you in Scandinavian because I know you like your Vikings.
Quarter Danish. Vikings.
Quarter Irish. Quarter English and quarter cock. They worked that actual period of 536 and the whole period of it, Justinian, that was kind of woven into myth as part of what they call, which you should remember, the Thimble Winter.
Okay.
Which is the great winter before Ragnarok, which is always in their myth and lore. And if people don't know, the Ragnarok is kind of in Scandinavian times, Vikings, and that was.
It's the end of the world.
The end of the world.
Yeah.
So. I did some facts and reading, and then you can go through these if you want, of basically how would it basically kind of try to compare if that happened now, like the sun and the temperature drop and things like that, how would that probably affect like us globally now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Well, massively. Yeah, you crack on.
yeah, that's fine. So obviously we're such a tech-dependent society.
Wow, whenever the Wi-Fi goes
that
down,
actually food systems would collapse quite quickly
Yeah.
if it happened. Because our modern agriculture is highly sensitive to climate
Yeah.
and relies on kind of long-distance transport.
Yeah.
A multi-year volcanic winter would devastate crop yields worldwide.
Yeah, I would.
Even though we're more advanced and
It doesn't
better
matter.
technology and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, like countries dependent on imports would face kind of mass famine within months.
Yeah.
Months, mind.
I know.
In terms of like economy and politics, a global drop in sunlight would kind of crash stock markets, disrupt supply chains, and lead to resource wars.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, not like there's not enough wars going on in the world at the moment.
Well,
anyway.
might just be started again. In America and Iran.
Yeah. Did you see the site? All right, sorry, I know we're going off topic, but did you see the site? I know why America have said they've gone in there and they've done it to help out Israel and take out the nuclear program.
Just like Afghanistan,
yeah,
Iraq.
They've
been saying Iran has been close to nuclear weapons since 1940, mate.
And the reason they're going for that is they reckon they're close.
Yeah, or look at Iraq and that. Oh, they got weapons of mass destruction. Did they ever find any?
Nope.
No, they fucking didn't.
Which is still Bush and Blair's.
Well, of course it is.
One, yeah.
Massive fuck up.
But did you see the size of? I know, and I get it. This is obviously the size and scale of US and the army. Even though, like, obviously,
that's why he's doing it.
We still got a better army anyway. Like,
SAS are still the best of the best.
See the size of the bunker buster.
No.
Like bomb they dropped. So obviously what they're saying is that like the uranium rich kind of facility where it was in Iran is so far deep in, I don't know, it's like 60 meters plus in.
Yeah.
Okay. And Israel had kind of bombs they could drop in. And that they would only reach maybe 40 to 60 meters. So it wouldn't be enough to kind of destroy the complex and devastate it. So America, the only country in the world apparently, have got this bunker buster bomb,
right?
And it fucking huge. I saw it on the back of his truck and stuff like that. And they drop it down, and it can go like 80 to 100 meters. So it'd be the only thing which could devastate it.
Yeah.
But the only vehicle which could carry it is the stealth bomber.
Right.
Which is such. I still love the style. The look of the stealth bomber.
The triangle with the.
It is such a cool
looking
war machine to have.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah,
it's convenient that America are the only ones who are able to stop this threat with the only bomb that can get out in it.
Yeah, well,
fucking bollocks.
Everyone
mate.
else doesn't want to get involved at the moment. They want to try and deal with it. I mean, they came out today. I saw they had some top brass people. I know we're going off a little bit on that, but
that's all right.
They had some top brass people in America. They came out, did like a talk kind of with the press there, explaining it, and they had some questions back and everything. And they were saying that one of the questions was like, what triggered President Trump to kind of do it? And the guy came back and goes, well, he goes, Mr. Trump was always about peace. He proposed to the Iranians multiple times, come to peace talks, this, and they just kept refusing. He kept getting faced with kind of like a stone wall. And then basically, obviously, that was their decision to then say, well, you're not coming to the party. We're basically going to go and help out Israel and basically take out your nuclear kind of program over there.
And I'll be honest with you, I bet you that's bollocks.
Yeah, but Iranians have come back out now and said that all US soldiers and people within like that kind of area or vicinity are a risk now.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be a risk, you're going to be a target, basically.
Yeah,
of course they're going to.
So of course they are.
It could escalate massively.
Yeah, but to where? Because
I mean, even if Iran did, say Iran had a nuclear weapon, and they just fuck it and send it off. One, it might be disengaged or
it'll get intercepted
before anywhere now. But then you just think, well, you've just fucked yourself because how big Iran is.
Yeah.
They just have all of kind of America and then all of NATO and everyone.
Yeah.
Even hit any country, all of NATO just going to be like, well, obliterate them.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't. I don't know, because also they got to think about the innocent people in Iran who aren't programmable,
Well, I don't know. You never know with a madman at the seams. You might just be like, fucking bomb the shit out of them.
America, you're on about.
Yeah.
Whereas we'd probably be like, well, actually, there's people there with human rights and stuff. There's people there who probably don't deserve to be bombed for no reason.
I know. We'll see how it unfolds, but I don't know what allies Iran has. I can't imagine many.
Russia, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I thought Putin was.
I'm not sure.
I might be wrong on that, but yeah, I thought
I'm still not sure
like China and Russia and Iran and these kind
if
of
China
all
if
part of it.
China is, that could be a different story. Excuse me, they're the only ones who could stand up to America. As Russia has quite proven they can by not even being able to take Ukraine.
At the moment, yeah.
And
Do
say,
you think they'll be like they've thrown everything at that, or do you think there's more Putin could probably do and he hasn't?
well,
Because they threatened, I've got a red button, I could push it.
yeah, that's the only much more they could do. They're like fighting massive, like a lot of army there.
Yeah, fair play to Ukraine for defending
And
country,
everyone else.
job they've done, and people supporting them,
there's
helping them.
thousands that are there that obviously are not saying.
Yeah.
Like British Army are there, like Australians there, Americans there, loads of other countries, but they're not there.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Because when there was like people like there was like, what's it? POVs, point of views, like first person cams, like British soldiers and other people like fighting Russians.
Yeah. And I've seen like footage of people with the drones and the drone drops a thing and you see the heat signature and like, the Russian soldiers getting killed and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think until you're in that environment you actually understand war at all and the impact it has on not just the people there and living there and trying to survive, but the people fighting there and the after effects. Like similar to which we'll get onto, like World War One, World War Two, what happened. Like it's easy to talk about it.
Yeah,
so you fucking live and breathe it.
I'm glad we're only talking about it. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
A little bit of a sidetrack there, but yeah, the only other thing I had on there was how would they deal with it? Kind of how would we deal with it now if it affected us? The kind of technology would actually have a bit of a hit as well. So solar power would take a major hit.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah, satellites and communication could be damaged by atmospheric disruption. Yeah. And misinformation would spread rapidly.
Of course it would.
Like we always like. Conspiracy theories would obviously be widespread.
Yeah.
And it'd be on steroids probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put a little thing in there. So in 536, people lit candles and prayed. Mm-hmm. In 2025, they'd rage tweet and loot supermarkets.
Yeah.
But in the end, we're still the same species. We'd be scared, confused, and looking for a meaning in the dark.
Yeah, exactly.
So
well put.
Thank you.
Well put.
So, good sir. July 2 was the next event, which was about the Black Plague. Okay, so this is what hit Europe in 1347.
Yeah.
It was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which is what you said earlier, spread by fleas on rats.
Yeah, and it was caused by boat from ships. That's right.
Yeah, it travelled and spread and stuff like that. So it says there, killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people across Europe, Asia, and North Africa. That's just those continents.
Yeah, I know.
You know, when we're talking about the one before was globally 100 million over a couple of decades.
Yeah, just those
continents and stuff like that.
Yeah, Europe lost what it says 30 to 60% of its population just a couple of years.
I mean, even you said the top end, about 60% of people in Europe just
dead,
being gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanos would be happy.
Well, he's over 50, isn't he? Yeah. So in every at least family of 3, 2 people are dying. Pretty much on the high end.
Yeah. It's crazy when you think about it, like in just numbers of that and put it on a scale.
Yeah.
Like you can say it on like, 200 million people died. You think, that's fucking loads of people. Like it's still catastrophic.
Yeah.
But when you give it like a percentage of an area, you think, fuck me, like.
And like entire villages and stuff were just eradicated.
Yeah.
From it, piles of bodies and stuff.
Well, as I said, like Phil, like again, it's a bit like the crops and the famine and stuff. You know, you probably had then because everyone was contracted with it and ill. They're not going out there like the farmers aren't going out there and doing their jobs. They're not yielding the farms. They're not getting the crops in. So where's your food coming from? Well, nowhere.
Nowhere. You're done. Yeah, you're done. You're buggered. Like, and like you said again, it's just fear mongering. Everyone's like weak or battered or dying, or those that are not wanting to help the weak or battered to die.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get infected and.
Can you imagine just being like a medical person back then? Like now you've got hospitals.
Yeah.
Still under strain, but doctors and nurses and stuff now. But back then you wouldn't have had mass amount of them.
I imagine most like doctors and medical people back then. They would have died.
Yeah.
Surely.
But if they're as part of the 1347, so you've got castles, you've got like
Yeah.
towns and cities and
Yeah.
stuff, and like the king or queen might be like, well, I've got a healer here, like,
Yeah.
or anything like that. Like the strain they would be put under anyway, or
No, but
not,
they're
would or not? Do you reckon the king and queen could be complete bastards and just be like, you're not allowed to help the poor.
Yeah, I
You have to
bet.
stay here and just
I
only
bet.
allowed to help me and stuff like that
Yeah.
as well.
1347. I wonder if that's close to Tudor era, is it?
Yeah.
Tudors would have been fucking brutal anyway, weren't
Well,
they?
it would. That's like Henry VIII and stuff.
Yeah, he is Tudor, so I bet they would have been like, he would have been like, you fucking stay out of my
Yeah.
castle,
You're here.
mate.
I did pick this up as well, and basically, obviously, it said many believed the church had kind of failed them. Which
Yeah.
is what we said about the other one, because there was a lot of more religion and believing that, and obviously priests were dying, so prayers kind of went unanswered. It was very religious back then, when it a lot of people, most people believed in it and went to church stuff.
Yeah.
So some people actually turned to a religion which was called the Flagellants.
All right.
Okay. Which is basically radical Christians in medieval Europe who believed that the Black Death was God's punishment for humanity's sins.
So they're still Christians.
Yeah, and that could earn God's mercy.
Yeah.
So they actually entertained public self-punishment.
Oh.
So a bit like Da Vinci Code. When the guy hits himself when he does a sin?
Yeah.
So they were kind of doing that to themselves. They would travel in positions, they'd chant hymns, pray, and whip themselves. With variety of kind of things, which are bloody Europe.
A lot of them were like metal
they're
tips
kind of
as well,
and their bloody processions kind of with equal parts kind of spectacle, faith, and horror. But ultimately, they didn't stop the plague. If anything, they actually spread it because they're just
of course, with open wounds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just going to carry straight into that.
Yeah. So could you imagine? I don't know, you being there, you're suffering, and then you just hear like, or like maybe going through the streets and these people just there like whipping themselves like that, like
taking themselves out.
It'd be
They
great.
don't want
what?
Yeah,
Really,
what the
yeah.
fuck? Yeah, I'd be sprinting off.
And
then probably the other way was hedonism, wasn't it?
Yes, which is what I would go to myself.
Yeah, life's short.
Which
fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, hedonism. What
That's
they did.
Hedonism, innit?
Yeah,
life's short. Enjoy it. Yeah.
And what they used to do back then as well. They used to basically just go to like taverns and places like that.
Party,
drink, shag. Just eat. Like if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go out happy.
Dying like while you're having a 69 or something, innit? Boil pus all over you.
Yeah. I've got some on my lips a minute.
Are you sure that was pus? Yeah.
Which is probably the way
I like that logic. Like, you're probably gonna die. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, why let it ruin you? You're going to die anyway. Go out happy. But yeah, it was kind of the two takes on it really back then for the Black Plague of 1347.
Well, and everyone knows about that, don't they?
Yeah,
it was much more popular.
Yeah. So leads us on to the next one, okay, which we've got in 1918, which was the Spanish flu, World War I.
Oh.
So. World War I obviously started already in 1914.
Yeah. Ended in 1918.
So the Spanish flu came around at the end of World War I, which probably a lot of people might know, might not know.
Yeah. By the way, at the start of the episode when I said 1918, World War I started, I meant it ended.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
But it was still the year of war they were having.
Yeah, so it's still coming to the end of, like I said, you're coming. This is where you got put in perspective. You're coming into a year where most of Europe and America had obviously been fighting.
Yeah.
We're fighting, just fighting in Europe anyway and stuff like that.
40, 50, 60 million people died in that alone. Yeah.
And then you come to the end of that, you're coming home, you're tired, you're worn out. Everyone else is even at home because there was lots of help and they were doing them. You've just come to that, and then
there's this pandemic.
A pandemic comes across, the Spanish flu, infected 500 million people.
Fucking hell.
Which was a third of the world's population.
That's bad.
Yeah, and it killed 50 million people in just the first 2 years.
Oh.
Which is insane.
In
terms of, like you said, like a pandemic event like that.
Did it come from the war, like Spanish flu?
No. I actually got his name wrong. So the Spanish flu, it never actually started in Spain.
Yeah.
So what happened was a lot of European countries like us, including UK and America and other places that were saying because of the morale of the war,
Yeah.
they didn't want to widespread it. So they were saying,
Yeah.
oh, it's just like another normal cold kind of thing spreading that.
Right.
So they kind of played it down really much. So
Oh, I see.
Spain was the only country which publicly stated, well, this is fucking something new.
And it's
Which
got the myth thing that,
yeah,
they
and then basically it got called the Spanish flu because they were the only country
like we're saying about
which
it.
saying, well, this is fucking something new. We need to worry about this. Instead of reporting it,
Yeah.
because everyone else was like, nah, don't worry about it. It's just it's not much.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit something else really when it started, but
yeah, well,
you know, like that. And obviously, it's just been branded as Spanish flu. So it never actually came from Spain.
interesting.
Um,
Well, mate, I mean, that is awful. I mean, still in 1918, like millions of soldiers died, and the worst, obviously, so grateful that they made the sacrifice for us.
yes, oh,
And
massively.
but that trench warfare, for fighting in those trenches for months, weeks at a time,
Cold,
and
wet,
you're
damp.
gaining a meter or two
Yeah.
at a time. And the only way you can get up is you have to get up out of that trench, and the enemy are just gunning you, and like, oh,
It's horrific.
unbelievable.
Which is I have massive appreciation for people who ever like respected people who, you know, now like maybe over 100 of if they're still alive. Probably not many from 1918.
I don't think there's any anymore.
No, there'd be a lot.
No.
Obviously, World War II, there'd be there's a few now. And obviously, we show respect every year for it and stuff. But yeah, it you don't understand. And I know you can only see so much from like say movies when they're good. Like one of the best ones was
Saving Private Ryan. Yeah.
So
I know that's World War
recently.
II, but still.
Yeah, but in terms of just showing the effects of war, yeah. And then, all right, it's dramatized, maybe not too much, but it's probably the truth.
I think it's watered down.
Maybe, okay, yeah, actually true, yeah. Sorry.
Fucking right, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
horrendous.
You know, obviously we've got reports of what happened back then and everything, and you probably can't comprehend what people went through at all. PTSD,
no
like you said. You're there, you see your mate go up, head gets blown off.
Yeah.
And then the body's just there, and you got to stay in your trench next to this dead body, rotting corpse,
blood all over you, and like.
Yeah, you know, you're not you're not getting enough water and food and stuff. I know you got rations and things and supplies, but you're suffering. You're cold, you're damp, you're wet.
Yeah.
You don't know really what's going on. Maybe sometimes like things change in war, don't it? Like you have a plan, gets changed.
Yeah, it gets changed. Oh yeah, and like you say,
be responsive, aren't you? But like it's.
And you're fighting, like you say, you're fighting for meters at a time, and you're fighting there for weeks, a month.
Yeah. So I know I said over dramatized. What I probably didn't clarify, and it was probably meant like. You know, when we see movies when like a bloke's running and then he just misses every fucking bullet.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Oh yeah.
And I know there was probably war heroes out there
Definitely.
and stuff. But I was trying to. I didn't clear it up. I was trying to think like over dramatized in terms of like, oh, that guy just fucking runs through all the lakes and stuff. Probably nothing like that. You literally.
Oh, you
doors down, bang, dead. Yeah,
of course. Well, I think Saving Private Ryan did show that on the Normandy landings. How many of them just got obliterated?
On the boats. Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, not even getting like some boats wouldn't even get to the beach.
Yeah,
like, it's just awful. Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I know.
So 1918. So obviously, modern medicine was kind of in its infancy.
Yeah. Still.
You know, you haven't got all the kind of things to kind of combat kind of a massive kind of pandemic event, a flu. So the difference between like that and now, maybe slightly differently. I know we had it in countries, but cities dealt things with independently. Okay, so whereas we've got in UK, obviously at the time, Boris was like a lockdown everywhere and that, like American stuff. Philadelphia went out and had kind of like a mass kind of celebration of walk, and within so many like weeks after that, 1,000 people died.
Interesting.
So they had like a big like massive parade,
and
then like I think like 200,000 people kind of attended, and then a bit, 200,000 people, you got this kind of this flu going around, spreading, and then weeks later people die. Whereas other cities in like America, we were like, well, we're shutting down. That was their policy. So it was different, different cities. Whereas like now in 2020, it was like, the government said everyone has to lock down.
Yeah.
No, not everyone.
And a lot of the government didn't fucking do it.
Do it themselves. No, so
bastards.
You preach, but don't do it yourself. Is fucking bang out of order.
It's definitely a sensitive topic for sure. I mean, we had obviously Bella born in that period.
Yeah.
Like none of the family could even like come and see her and that for a
Yeah.
while. And I'd probably, if I could go back again, I probably would have ignored a lot of the lockdown rules.
Yeah.
I would have. I mean, I still got the jabs and that. To be fair.
Well, you know that as well as like mum's funeral. We could only have up to like 50 people, so you couldn't have. We had to be selective on who we could invite,
Yeah.
like to that as well.
Yeah.
You know, like so you couldn't
Yeah.
have everyone, all your friends and family
That's
there
fucking
to do
right,
that. You
really.
know,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, it is. It is. And like, no matter where you sit on it, it has come out that no testing had been done to prove that anything had worked anyway. And I'm saying that as I took the jab, by the way.
yeah.
I've
I've
taken it.
had a few jabs. Yeah,
Well, I'm just being. I only had the two, and then
I think I've had three. Or I think I had three. I think I had the two and I had a top up one. I think.
did you? Yeah.
And I know like
Oh, you got a bit strange after that one.
I know like Dad's had like 8
Yeah,
because like being a vulnerable person,
know,
like,
what-
invited every year. You got to have it now with the
so they say.
the
Yeah.
flu jab. You have every year. Don't
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. Well, my mum did start to do that. To be fair, I watched some videos. I have to show you this going off topic.
you? Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I said to mum about just still got to be careful, ain't you? Just with stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100. Yeah, I said there's gonna be people on the fence on both sides. People who lost people and think, fucking hell, like wish we had it sooner and did help in saving that people,
Yeah.
or it didn't.
Fucking
like,
hell, they had it, and then look, they got
Yeah,
these symptoms after.
yeah.
It's gonna be
So
that
no, yeah,
inevitable,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But we digress.
But yeah, for Spanish flu, World War One, there was no vaccines. It wasn't actually isolated until 1933.
Fucking hell.
So you're talking 15 years after.
Oh.
Whereas you compare it to potentially now,
Yeah.
we kind of
Isolated.
live with it. Let's say we live with it.
Live with it. Yeah.
We had the period of like 2 years or whatever it was,
Yeah.
on off on or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're kind of it's not
Yeah.
really
It's not a thing now, is
it's not
it?
a thing now.
It's
Like
not a
you
thing.
might get ill and it
Yeah.
might be COVID
Yeah.
or it might be the flu,
Exactly.
but you're not
Yeah.
getting people. I suppose I probably imagine now yearly you're probably getting the same amount of people dying from a flu than you probably have as COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Like it's just a living thing because people still die of flu every year, even if they're flu jab. It just stops you from getting it as bad,
Exactly.
and that was what the COVID vaccine jab as well was. So
Yeah.
you think we had that kind of managed now? Let's say we're all perfectly fine-ish now for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously it's 15 years back then.
I know. Fucking hell.
So
Yeah, horrendous for them.
the last one on our list, I'll let
Wow.
you take the lead on this one if you want, which
Well,
is quite horrific as well.
Yeah, well, it probably could be the winner. I don't know. Well, obviously 1942.
World War II.
Yeah, so the years of World War II, even though it started in 39 to 45. But this is like 1942, I think they're saying it's the worst year.
Yeah.
And like, was it 25 to 30 million military deaths? 50 plus million civilian deaths.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
80 odd million. 6 million Jews murdered in the Holocaust, obviously.
I mean, you could talk all day about how horrific that was.
As a year in total, that's got to be the most evil year.
Yeah, I mean,
some of the others are natural. Like the plague was a natural cause, like that.
Yeah,
the volcano was natural, but in terms of World War II,
it's just
brutally murdering.
It's just inhumane to round up and like respects to like Jewish people, like to round up millions of Jewish people who didn't conform to your kind of policies, take them off these campsites, which were fucking not getting fed, not getting. Well, you see some of the photos of the people like ribs and
cages,
barbed wires and all that. You're trying to escape, you're getting shot.
Yeah,
and then let's go have a shower or something.
Yeah,
and then you just like gassed, like horrific.
Put into ovens.
Horrendous to even go through it, but then like it's someone at work went to Auschwitz, and he said it's just eerie. Like even now, you can go there now. You can feel it. Like you can feel the pain and the torture and all that there.
Pure fear, terror.
And you see the places where they were and everything they've gone through, and just think like it's just inhumane to like kill people. I mean, there's been other ones in the past. I know like in Cambodia. Have you ever watched the film Killing
Killing
Fields?
Fields, of
Yeah,
course.
which is like Pol Pot, Pol Pot,
Pol Pot.
Pol Pot's, and then
Yeah.
millions of people he killed and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's loads of like genocide which have gone around the world.
Well, yeah, but sure,
But
I'm sure during the war, World War II, is it on there? Yeah, is it Chairman Mao, the Chinese,
yeah,
the worst ever massacre
Yeah.
of people ever, worse than Stalin, worse than Hitler. It was Mao.
it's probably
Before
not talked about enough actually. Like
40%, yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's kind
not.
of undershadowed.
Yeah,
Like,
like they say Hitler's the worst person in history. Yeah, he is right fucking up there. But Chairman Mao, like 40 to 75 million Chinese people. I'm sure that was during World War II. And then obviously you had the gulags, didn't you, in Soviet Russia?
yeah,
You hear gulag, you just know that's a fucking
Oh.
concentration camp. You know it's fucking hellacious.
you have to be
Awful.
like a different breed to be able to survive in something like that.
Well, fair
the
fucking
gulag.
play to all those who did.
But I think at the
Yeah.
end of that, then in 1945, I think at the end was kind of literally you come to the end. This is where it's like, I know it says year, but this is like years. You've got the war, all these people have died. You've gone through the genocide. Obviously, the power of Axis kind of like rose at that time. Obviously, you had the Holocaust and stuff and that.
Yeah,
The end of the war,
yeah,
and kind of like, the beginning of the atomic age, as you
Yeah.
could want to call it,
yeah.
and also beginning not long afterwards, the Cold War.
Yeah, the Cold War, which
So,
lasted,
yeah.
what, 30, 40 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so like we talked about it now, obviously nuclear kind of thing. You had the atomic bombs of Nagasaki, which obviously had
Hiroshima.
and Hiroshima. So you had like instant civilian deaths in tens of thousands, and obviously with the lasting kind of
Hundreds of thousands.
yeah. And you think that's crazy? Like that's crazy to think about that as a nuclear bomb going off. And I literally just thought of Chernobyl, which was obviously a disaster of a different thing.
Yeah.
Nuclear. I'm just trying to touch on the nuclear things.
Yeah.
The nuclear outfall of that, and I mean, have you seen the series?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Got voted the best series of all time.
I think it's
on IMDb.
amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So good.
It's phenomenal.
Based on obviously true events of Chernobyl. If people don't know, obviously a nuclear reactor kind of exploded in Ukraine.
Yeah.
But the outpour of that now. Have you seen the structures they've put over the reactors?
No.
I'll have to show you one time. It's still pouring like nuclear kind of like
they still can't. There's
like
people are starting to go back there, but that's just like government official people in it, and like in the suits.
But they have put these. I'll get it up for you now. Actually, while we're talking about it, I mean, obviously it was horrendous.
What are the suits called? Hazmat suits?
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and also just while Sean's doing that, touching on obviously like 1942 onwards, at the Battle of Stalingrad, where over 2 million people died, was the bloodiest battle in the whole war.
Oh yeah,
nuts, mate.
So that's the new tomb for the most dangerous, like obviously for
radiation. Yeah.
So they built that.
Okay. Wow.
Chernobyl's new sarcophagus, mind. It took 2 decades to make it, mind.
Bigger than Wembley Stadium.
It was still the entire disaster site for 100 years.
Oh my goodness.
So it would all seem quite normal, not to the fact that there were just 100 meters. Let's have a look, see if I can get the stats of it, the size of it.
Wow. Taller than the, what is it? Taller than the...
Yeah, it's a 35,000 ton structure.
Jesus Christ.
And it spent days just like inching along a set of purpose-built tracks towards the final destination.
Oh my God.
It's taller than Statue of Liberty and larger than Wembley Stadium.
Wow.
Yes.
Wembley Stadium can hold what, 90,000?
Yeah, it's hoped that the sarcophagus will draw a line under this catastrophic chapter in the history of nuclear energy. It's basically what it's saying. But
yeah. Nuts.
Yeah, and like I said, it's crazy what happened there. And obviously, the nuclear one, you had, like I said, nuclear bombs, which went off during the end of the war.
Yeah.
In 1945.
Yeah.
Like I said, we talked about people obviously probably had PTSD back then, so it's not just deaths; it's the kind of outfall and after of it.
Well,
and stuff. More so than
families.
When you're comparing it against the 536 AD.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, people are dying famine and everything and all that, but it's not like a war.
Yeah.
So you might have had less deaths globally, in the war potentially on some of them,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But the after effect and the impact
millions. Yeah.
could obviously kind of
Millions.
project it
Definitely.
worse than
Yeah.
potentially going through what they had to go through.
Yeah,
And
I
even
would
like
say so.
bubonic plague.
Yeah.
It's affected people, but they might have been people fighting each other.
Yeah.
We don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, there would have been wars, battles back then, wouldn't
definitely.
Yeah.
So the last one really was just kind of like I put in there. I know it's not that, but I just thought it was the most recent thing we kind of had something. It was COVID.
Yeah.
So obviously, we know that COVID obviously started in China, in
Yeah.
Wuhan, in 2019.
Yeah.
Obviously, a global pandemic by March 2020, which is obviously when we all started seeing lockdowns, or the first lockdowns,
Yeah.
which was badly managed, shall I say, especially in our country, the UK. They were late. Everything they said was kind of wrong, and they didn't even abide by their own rules. Anyway, they're fucking, what's it called, Partygate?
Yeah.
Was it Partygate, something like that?
Partygate, yeah, it was.
You know, like they're fucking celebrating and hugging each other and all that, and everyone's not allowed to go to their loved ones.
Yeah, exactly, like dying loved ones and that, and it just makes you think, well, they got all the info coming in. What's really like fucking going on here, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing I think of government is what is actually released, what is the truth.
Exactly.
You're never the truth, is it, really?
But yeah, borders have shut and stuff, or did shut from then, didn't they? Like economies, the stock market and all that fucking plummeted.
Yeah, well, you think about the amount of us sitting here now, the amount of establishments like, say, cinemas, restaurants, pubs,
everything,
which are now not open because of the impact they had of COVID is shutting down. They can't survive, and then post that they can't survive.
No,
so the impact you've got the impact of all that was had on the kind of like economy and everything. You had like 700 million people infected. We probably had about 7 million of deaths, probably about 7 million plus, I reckon, across like globally. Thinking that. Obviously, there was a lot of misinformation about the virus and stuff and that, conspiracy theories, anti-vaccine movements, and like I said, we just said then you can have like pros and cons or be on both sides of it.
Well, there is conspiracies on both sides.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that. Obviously I got the vaccine as well, but I'm not necessarily pro-vaccine either because I've seen so much stuff. It's hard to really know what's the truth.
Yeah.
To be honest,
they said there's pros and cons on both sides, isn't there? Like,
for sure there is. Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. Which something I do a lot more now is work from home, so it's had a big impact on the companies.
To this day, innit?
Still this day, so hybrid working is now accepted. But I remember when my old company, they went fucking bust now, but that wasn't because of COVID. No. So badly managed.
Yeah. Wankers.
Yeah, they were. I remember the boss at the time. He was like, "Oh, can't trust you to work from home because I don't know you're actually going to be doing work and stuff." And
you'll fucking see, won't you?
Yeah, you'll see the work. You'll see what we're going to produce and do, and that's just me. But like everyone, just being like, I get it in a little sense at that time because not a lot of people were working from home. It was like you got to go to the office, you got to work and stuff like that. So there was a bit like, why the fuck do I know you're going to be working? Now it's like it's completely fine.
I think it's a good thing.
It's good. Like it. In terms of
completely, but
but in terms of work-life balance,
definitely.
You know, it's good. Like
definitely,
you get your things. You can do a bit more, like I said, with your family and stuff.
Yeah,
it should be important as well.
It is the most important thing.
You shouldn't. What's the word? It's not. What's it? Live to work, work to live. And there's that thing. You should.
Yeah, you shouldn't
live to work. You should work to live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You said it. Yeah. So
you literally said
it. Yeah. I did say it right. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Whew.
No, I mean, I'm not like blowing my own horn or whatever, but I have lived by that mantra for years anyway. But it's just life's too short, especially when you have kids.
Yeah.
So I am not, because sometimes I do long days with traveling, but every day is when I do like really short days, like a job in Bristol and I'm back by 10. And I will make sure I do enough of them as well, because all I want to do is see my wife and kids. Like, you're not going to remember this fucking job or tough job you've done on your deathbed. Just as memories you make with your family that are the most important thing. Family and friends.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's kind of really the events, the years.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think out of those we listed were the worst? And have you got any others that we haven't heard of?
Yeah.
Or not heard of, but we haven't mentioned? Because we love interacting with you guys. And you think of any off the top of your head?
The top of my head.
What was the year Newcastle got relegated?
You fucker. Oh, I hope Man United fucking get relegated this season.
They were close to it this year, mate.
Not anymore off the top of my head. No, not I can think of. I'm just trying to think of.
I mean, they are like the world wars. They're the worst of the wars, so you can't really name any other wars, can you? Because not many more people died. The plagues. Here we go.
When Atlantis went underwater.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what we have to do. Is like the ancient world wonders.
Yeah.
Just where the fuck is that Zeus statue?
Oh,
That was supposed to be like 100 meters tall.
yeah.
Never found it.
You have the lighthouse. Obviously, you have
Hanging Babylon,
Gardens of Babylon, which are apparently never really true. Is thing like never the thing, but you see the stories of it. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be good episode. Yeah, Jack West Jr. Oh, he hasn't written anymore though, has he?
He's finished it.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah. I will prove it to you now.
Oh,
so sorry for the people listening. So there's a guy, an amazing writer, which we both love, and I'll dig him up now. Matthew Riley, an absolute
Australian writer.
Yeah,
yeah, brilliant. Matthew Riley, you fucking roll up, man.
So,
your book's bloody brilliant. So it's like
it was 7 ancient wonders,
6
sacred stones,
5
ancient warriors,
and
then it was 4. So basically, he does a lot of like series. There was that one. There's another one he's done with what's his name? Not Sparrow. There's another series done with like a CIA agent. I know that.
But anyway, this is his premium.
But yeah, the last one was
premium.
The One Impossible Labyrinth.
Oh my goodness, I did not know he's finished that. I will have to
catch up on it.
And we'll have to start a fucking book club for you guys as well because
books to read.
Yeah, books to read because we got a lot and I didn't know he finished it.
I haven't finished it myself. I got down.
I'm on 4.
Yeah, I bought Dad a few books. I think I got.
I read 4. Yeah, and then that's it. It's been.
Then you got 3, 2, and 1. Yeah.
When did he release then? Gotta be recent.
So, One Impossible Labyrinth. I'll have a look now.
Oh my goodness!
While I'm doing that, which one do you actually think out of the ones we've done would you say would be you think the worst?
The worst, yeah. If you're going by percentage of the population, then it's probably 536. If you're going by actual brutality, World War. But if you're going 1918, so you had World War One and the Spanish flu, mate. I'd probably have to say World War Two for the viciousness and the horror stuff.
I'm probably going to say just because of
percentages.
Well, no, I was going to say because of medicine and stuff like that there, I would probably say the Black Death, the plague.
Yeah.
Just something you can't really comprehend.
You can do nothing about.
You can do nothing about it at the time. It was just like, basically, you had to just try to get through it, didn't you?
I would say the worst in terms of percentages, yeah, those are up there, but...
So, the last one was the One Impossible Labyrinth. It was actually 20th of January, 2022.
Wow.
So we got a lot of catch-up.
We got to get on that then. Crikey.
Well,
I think that about wraps up this episode.
We haven't reviewed the beer yet, so we normally We normally review it halfway through. I think we
wrap up.
We really got into
we
good chat then.
We thought this was going to be probably about 30-40 minutes.
Yeah, we got into a good chat then.
Yeah.
So we've got the Garden Brewery, which is from Croatia. It's the Myrna, the Crisp IPA. So I'm going to write up on the board, and then we'll give our reviews.
If you were going to pronounce it in sort of this language, it'd be Myrna.
Just going to put Myrna.
Myrna. Crisp IPA.
So, I'm going to go for I actually like that, and I do like the detail. I don't think it's the top. I don't think, because no one ever hears me when I do it there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's the top 5
it's not
in me.
Top 5.
But it's going to be an 8. It's going to be a point. 2.
Oh, that is what you call an 8.2. Not bad.
I thought you were going to say that's what you call a cop out.
No.
What are you going to go for?
I'm going to give it a 7.6.
Ooh, okay.
Not the worst I've had, only because I'm not a massive IPA fan. But this was a really good one, I got to say. So I can see why you scored it high if you like IPAs, because that
I just
There's
like
more crispness.
Yeah, I just like the flavor, like an IPA, like the flavor,
Flavour was less.
citrusness you get, the kind of
Melon, the fruit bowl, the tomato salad. It was less.
the Greek feta cheese.
Yeah, the balsamic vinegar, hints of
Make
fucking
me excited right now.
sprouts. Yeah, well, salad over your face. Whatever that means. Suck it up.
Oh, you do it every time when I've got drink.
I
home.
do. I
This
didn't even
kid-
have to be looking
This
at
kid,
kid.
next to me,
Yeah.
done that over the years.
Yeah.
Many times I've had Coke or something else in my mouth.
Cocaine.
Drink, I should say. I should say drink in my mouth.
Yeah.
He always makes me laugh, and I always end up fucking spitting it out somehow.
I do.
I've learned a bit more now.
Yeah, you got to start swallowing more. On that note,
Yeah, on that note,
I
that's
hope
the end of this episode.
hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you for joining us.
Be sure to follow all our socials and everything else. We've got Buy a Coffee, which is just if you fancy donating anything to us because you're highly entertained
Yep.
or you feel sorry for us, then please do. And we've got everything on our link tree where you can find us. More stuff will be going on there. We've got big plans. We've had an executive meeting lately, haven't we?
Oh, we have indeed, yeah.
We've got big things coming up for you guys and us. And yeah, we will see you guys on the next one.
Adios.
Cheerio.